We open on a news report of a runaway attack robot having been stolen from a weapons laboratory called the Trollbot 9000. The Loonatics are already hard at work attempting to stop it, Ace and Lexi combining their powers to destroy one of its turbines, causing it to careen towards the ground. Tech readies another one of his toys to neutralize the robot's threat. As it hones in on Loonatics HQ, the Coyote fires the weapon, only for it to blow up in his face. Trollbot lands a direct hit on HQ with some missiles, causing it to come crashing down. The resulting crash leads to Ace getting hit with a large chunk of rubble. All alone, the robot closes in on the rabbit, poised to crush him to death as we end the cold open. When we return, it turns out the entire cold open was a nightmare Ace was having. Or at least he thinks it was, considering how realistic it felt. Still feeling a bit shaken up by the dream, he attempts to get in some breakfast before Zadavia quickly orders the team to head to the Acmetropolis weapons lab, where a large robot called the Trollbot 9000 has been stolen. As the team gets ready to head out, Duck intercepts a call to HQ by an elderly scientist named Dr. Fidel Kronecker. Kronecker wants the Loonatics to help deal with his grandson, but Duck hangs up on him before he can explain why. At the weapons lab, a kid with a green mohawk starts teleporting everywhere, incapacitating the guards. The kid, going by the name Timeskip, claims that the design for Trollbot 9000 was stolen by the Acmetropolis military, and he has every right to take it right back. The Loonatics soon arrive at the facility and meet up with the person in charge, Colonel Trench.
Someone calling himself Timeskip has broken in, claiming we stole his design for the Trollbot 9000.
Not the Trollbot 9000!
Trench recaps the events we just saw regarding Timeskip. Should the team take command of Trollbot, he'll be unstoppable. As soon as the Loonatics come face to face with him, Timeskip freezes them in place before they can do anything. The team successfully enters the robot and unfreezes the Loonatics, just in time to see just how powerful Trollbot 9000 truly is. With the robot now in his possession, Timeskip breaks out of the facility, ready to cause some mayhem. Tech laments that he has a toy back at HQ that could possibly take the thing out, so he and Rev fly back to get it prepped. Meanwhile, the rest of the team go and deal with the robot personally to buy Tech some time. Ace and Lexi combining their powers to destroy one of its turbines, causing it to careen towards the ground. Tech, meanwhile, readies his new toy to neutralize the robot's threat. As it hones in on Loonatics HQ, the Coyote fires the weapon, only for it to blow up in his face. Trollbot lands a direct hit on HQ with some missiles, causing it to come crashing down. The resulting crash leads to Ace nearly getting hit with a large chunk of rubble. All alone, the robot closes in on the rabbit, which proceeds to crush him to death as Ace wakes up from yet another nightmare.
Oh, what a dream.
Out of the entire writers' room for Loonatics, Steve Kuden is the only one with a dedicated Wikipedia page. And for a very good reason. On the surface, Kuden's resume might not look that impressive compared to the other writers we've covered so far. A few episodes of Goof Troop here, a few episodes of Bonkers there, and a number of one-off episodes of things like Camp Candy, Gargoyles, and Godzilla the series. But let's be honest here, TV isn't where Kuden really shines. Where he really shines is the stage. Kuden is one of the co-creators and co-lyricists to Jekyll and Hyde, a 1990 musical adaptation of the Robert Louis Stevenson novel that eventually made its way to Broadway in 1997 and a revival in 2013. For Loonatics, Kuden would write 4 episodes in total, 1 in Season 1 and 3 in Season 2. Kuden didn't work too much after Loonatics, only writing a few episodes for The Batman, World of Quest, and Shaolin Chronicles. Chris Dent got his start as an assistant animator for American Pop, then flipped to the complete opposite end of animation quality by joining Filmation, animating for Filmation's Ghostbusters, She-Ra, Brave Star, and Pinocchio, Emperor of the Night. After Filmation folded, Dent would join Warner Brothers and would work on Tiny Toon Adventures, Animaniacs, and Batman the Animated Series. After that, Dent would bounce between Nickelodeon and Disney with The Angry Beavers, Stitch the Movie, and My Life as a Teenage Robot. Dent storyboarded 3 episodes of Loonatics, all in Season 2. His post-Loonatics career consists entirely of 2 episodes of Shaggy and Scooby-Doo Get a Clue. This guy went from Ralph Bakshi to the second worst Scooby-Doo series. Amazing. When we return, Ace is having a strange feeling of deja vu, as the morning seems to be playing out exactly as last time. Lexi doesn't believe him, claiming their breakfasts usually are pretty samey. Tech, however, knows exactly what Ace is talking about.
Deja vu. The sense that you're experiencing something over and over again.
Zadavia interrupts breakfast and orders the team to head to the Acmetropolis weapons lab. Now, Lexi starts to think that Ace is telling the truth. With no other choice, the team gets ready to head out, but not before Duck intercepts a call to HQ by an elderly scientist named Dr. Fidel Kronecker. Kronecker wants the Loonatics to help deal with his grandson, but Duck hangs up on him before he can explain why.
My grandson.
What a nut.
At the weapons lab, the Loonatics are given the rundown about Time Skip. Should the team take command of Trollbot, he'll be unstoppable. As soon as the Loonatics come face to face with him, Time Skip freezes them in place before they can do anything. The team successfully enters the robot and unfreezes the Loonatics, just in time to see just how powerful Trollbot truly is. Tech realizes that Time Skip is, well, skipping through time in order to bypass their defenses, and says only Dr. Fidel Kronecker would know how to stop this time manipulation.
Wait a minute. That old crank called HQ this morning trying to hoodwink us into dealing with his totally out-of-control grandson.
Duck, recognizing the name, realizes the colossal screw-up he made after Ace spells it out for him. With the robot now in his possession, Time Skip breaks out of the facility, ready to cause some mayhem. Tech laments that he has a toy back at HQ that could probably take the thing out, so Ace instructs Lexi to go get it ready. Meanwhile, Ace, Duck, and Tech go visit Dr. Kronecker, pleased that they actually showed up after Duck rudely hung up on him. The doctor reveals he's been the one resetting time and giving Ace the feeling of deja vu. Tech is impressed with Kronecker's time manipulation setup, but he explains that his grandson was irradiated by it, which gave him his time powers. Ace presses him about why Time Skip is going after Trollbot.
When he learned the military developed a bigger, meaner bot, he took it hard.
Time Skip decided then and there to use his powers to get what he thinks is rightfully his back, even if it meant stealing it. Dr. Kronecker explains that the only way to defeat his grandson is with a time trap. By showing future events from a previous time loop, the 3 are now well versed in what would happen if Time Skip enters that robot. After learning that Dr. Kronecker can send anything back in time, Ace decides it's time for one final reset, now that they're armed with the upper hand that they've been needing all this time. Act 3 opens with the timeline reset once more. As Ace sits down for breakfast, Tech hands him a note that his future self had written for him, alongside the blueprints for Kronecker's time displacer. Ace, still not exactly up to speed, is confused by what Tech is talking about.
Oh, please. Notes sent from later today? Ridiculous! Zadavia will straighten us out when she calls in the next few seconds.
It takes Sadavia informing them about the weapons lab when things start ticking in Ace's mind. Although the rest of the team, sans Tech, is still confused, Ace begins to detail their plan of attack. Over at the weapons lab, Time Skip makes his way towards Trollbot.
This'll be a piece of cake. No security alarms. Nobody home? Weird.
As he lets Trollbot out, it's revealed that Lexi, Slam, and Duck are already inside, with Lexi at the controls. Outraged that the Loonatics have beat him to the punch, He commandeers a fighter jet and attempts to shoot at Trollbot as Lexi walks it out of the lab. Timeskip continues to attack the robot as Lexi makes the trek back to HQ with Trollbot in tow. Meanwhile, Ace, Rev, and Tech are in position with Tech's new toy, ready to fire.
Good thing you had me send Dr. Chronicker's plans back to us through time.
Just thinking ahead, backwards.
When Timeskip's jet is in sight, Tech blasts it with his laser, aging it to dust and causing Timeskip to crash land. With a time trap, courtesy of Rev, the teen has finally been dealt with. And just to make sure this never happens again, Dr. Chroniker plans on neutralizing his grandson's time powers for good.
And I thought this day would never end.
And I didn't know you were gonna say that.
There's something ironic at play with this episode. As someone that used to watch this show religiously as a kid, I forgot this episode even existed. Almost like it was erased from time. And after having watched it again, I can kinda see why. Groundhog Day episodes like this were a dime a dozen, and most of the time they all go through the same route. Character wakes up, goes through specific moments for the viewer to pay attention to, and right at the end, something goes wrong that causes them to relive that same day, leading to experimentation on what to do differently, and ultimately, figure out why they're reliving that same day over and over and over again. Timeskip I have mixed feelings on. On the one hand, I like that, unironically, he's the most dangerous villain seen so far in the show. Outside of his time manipulation powers easily being used to chillingly good use, once he's in control of Trollbot, that's it. He's officially won. There is absolutely nothing the Loonatics can do. Timeskip destroys Loonatics HQ, likely killing Rev, Tech, and the only thing that could stop him. Lexi, Duck, and Slam are ill-equipped to handle such a huge robot on their own, and Ace straight up dies when Timeskip crushes him under the weight of Trollbot's foot. If it weren't for Dr. Chroniker intervening by resetting time, Acmetropolis is all but doomed. But on the other hand, Timeskip is a nothing of a character outside of that. Sure, he has a reason for breaking into the weapons lab to steal Trollbot, but again, we aren't given the full picture. Why exactly would the Acmetropolis military steal a teenager's robot blueprints and pass it off as their own? Is there some sort of commentary at play here that I'm just not getting? I'm not entirely sure, but we're 0 for 3 now on villains with proper backstories. Can the next episode break us out of this rut?